The Titanic's story is legendary. A ship of dreams, lost to the Atlantic in 1912, and forever etched into the world's memory. Its tragic maiden voyage has become a symbol of human ambition, hope, and heartbreak, capturing imaginations for over a century. The Titanic has been immortalized in countless films, shelves of books, and haunting photographs that keep its memory alive. Its story is retold in classrooms, museums, and documentaries, ensuring that each new generation learns about the ship that was once called unsinkable. Yet a question persists. Despite all our technological advances, why does the Titanic still rest at the bottom of the ocean? With the wreck discovered and explored, many wonder, why not bring this iconic ship back to the surface? After all, humanity has achieved incredible feats. We've sent astronauts to the moon, landed robots on Mars, and explored the deepest parts of our planet. Compared to these achievements, raising a ship might seem like a challenge within our grasp. But the reality is far more complex, filled with daunting physical and ethical obstacles. The Titanic lies nearly 4,000 meters below the surface, battered by pressure, cold, and time. Its remains are fragile, and the ocean is an unforgiving environment. Imagine, for a moment, the Titanic's grand staircase and opulent dining rooms restored and displayed on land, a breathtaking, tangible link to history. The idea is tempting, offering a chance to walk through the past and experience the ship's grandeur firsthand. Yet, the journey from ocean floor to surface is fraught with immense challenges, not just of size, but of location, decay, and the very nature of the deep sea. The Titanic is not just a shipwreck, it's a delicate time capsule, threatened by every attempt to disturb it. Before we explore these difficulties in detail, join us as we uncover the reasons why the Titanic remains in its watery grave, untouched and preserved by the ocean's depths. By understanding why it cannot be raised, we gain a deeper appreciation for the power of nature, the limits of technology, and the respect owed to those who perished. The Titanic's resting place is not just a site of tragedy, but a powerful reminder of our connection to the past. The answers, as you'll see, are even more fascinating than the questions, inviting us to reflect on history, technology, and the enduring mysteries of the deep. To understand why the Titanic cannot be raised, we must first locate it. The wreck lies in the remote North Atlantic, about 370 miles off Newfoundland, Canada. It rests at a staggering depth of 12,500 feet, nearly 2.5 miles down. At this depth, there is no sunlight, only perpetual darkness, freezing cold, and crushing pressure. Finding the wreck was a monumental challenge, solved only in 1985 by Dr. Robert Ballard's team using advanced sonar. The Titanic is not a shipwreck waiting for divers. It's in one of the most inaccessible places on Earth. Reaching it requires specialized submersibles built to withstand the abyss. Every mission is a major scientific and logistical feat, costing millions. The location itself is the first and perhaps greatest barrier to recovery. The Titanic's grave is as remote as it is forbidding. The Titanic's descent was violent, not peaceful. As the bow filled with water, the ship broke in two, sending the bow and stern on separate, chaotic journeys to the seabed. The bow landed relatively intact, buried deep in mud. The stern imploded and collapsed, scattering debris over miles. The result is a vast, chaotic debris field, not a single shipwreck. The two main sections lie about 1/3 of a mile apart, surrounded by wreckage, everything from boilers to personal items. The Titanic is a fragmented ruin, not a neat package waiting to be lifted. The stern is a mangled heap, likely to disintegrate if moved. The bow, though recognizable, is fragile and partially buried. Lifting the Titanic would mean lifting thousands of shattered pieces, not one ship. The ship that rests below is a ghost, torn apart by its own demise. The Titanic lies beneath 12,500 feet of water, an environment of unimaginable pressure. Down here, sunlight never reaches, and the cold is bone-chilling, hovering just above freezing. The darkness is absolute, broken only by the beams of submersibles exploring the wreck. At that depth, the pressure is nearly 400 times greater than at the surface, about 6,000 pounds per square inch. To put it in perspective, that's like having the weight of 100 elephants pressing down on every square foot. This immense force crushes anything not specifically designed to withstand it. Any submersible must be engineered to perfection. A single flaw means instant destruction. Every bolt, every weld, every seal is tested and retested, because the margin for error is zero. The smallest crack or weakness can spell disaster for both machine and mission. Attaching lifting equipment that can withstand such forces is a technical nightmare. The machinery must not only survive the pressure, but also function flawlessly in the pitch-black freezing water, where visibility is limited and currents are unpredictable. Robots, not humans, must operate at these depths, delicately handling the fragile wreck. Human divers simply cannot survive here, so remotely operated vehicles become our eyes and hands, performing tasks with precision and care. Even if cables could be attached, the pressure would make every task exponentially harder. Equipment must be robust, yet gentle enough not to damage the century-old structure, and every movement is slowed by the crushing weight of the water. As the wreck is lifted, decreasing pressure could cause trapped water and air to expand, rupturing the hull. The Titanic structure, weakened by decades underwater, could shatter from within as it rises, making recovery a perilous gamble. The Titanic has adapted to its high-pressure home. Removing it would subject it to new destructive stresses. The ship is now a delicate ecosystem encrusted with rusticles and marine life, its metal eaten away by bacteria and time. The pressure is a relentless guardian, making recovery nearly impossible. The deep ocean is not just a physical barrier, but a constant reminder of nature's overwhelming power. Every step, from attachment to ascent, is fraught with risk. Teams must plan for every contingency, knowing that a single mistake could mean the loss of equipment, or worse, the destruction of the wreck itself. The deep sea's crushing force is a barrier few technologies can overcome. For now, the Titanic remains locked in its watery tomb, protected by the immense pressure of the ocean's depths. Over more than a century, the Titanic has been relentlessly consumed by the ocean's cold, crushing depths. What was once a marvel of engineering and luxury now lies in darkness, slowly succumbing to the forces of nature that surround it. Metal-eating bacteria, such as Halomonas titanicae, have colonized the wreck, feasting on the iron and steel. These microorganisms create delicate, icicle-like formations called rusticles, which hang from the ship's hull and turn solid steel into brittle powder over time. The hull, once a formidable barrier, is now riddled with holes and weakened by corrosion. In many places, the steel is so thin and fragile that it can be pierced with a gentle touch, resembling the texture of wet paper. Hundreds of tons of iron have already vanished into the sea, leaving behind a hollow, ghostly shell. What remains is not a solid structure, but a fragile skeleton, barely holding together under the immense pressure of the deep. Lifting the ship would be like trying to hoist a house made of wet cardboard. Any attempt would tear through the weakened metal, causing it to crumble and collapse. The Titanic's structure is simply too delicate to survive any major disturbance. The stern, once towering and proud, is collapsing rapidly. Iconic features like the grand staircase and the captain's cabin have already disappeared, lost to the relentless decay and the weight of the ocean above. Scientists who study the wreck believe that within a few decades, the Titanic may collapse entirely. All that will remain is a pile of rust, bronze, and memories, a testament to the unstoppable power of nature. Today, the Titanic is not a preserved relic but an active archaeological site in rapid decay. Each expedition reveals new losses, as the ship's features fade and collapse with every passing year. Its extreme fragility makes any recovery attempt nearly impossible. Even the most advanced remotely operated vehicles must move with utmost caution to avoid causing further damage. The ocean is winning the battle against the ship, slowly reclaiming the Titanic piece by piece, until one day, nothing will remain but stories in the cold, silent sea. Even if the technical challenges could be solved, the cost would be astronomical, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. New technologies would need to be invented, fleets of ships and submersibles built, and teams of experts deployed for years. Every dive, every day at sea, would add to the mounting bill. If the ship could be lifted, it would need a custom-built facility for conservation. Exposure to air would accelerate decay, requiring constant, expensive preservation. Who would pay? Governments have higher priorities, and private investors would see little return. A Titanic museum could never recoup the costs. The financial equation simply doesn't work. The cost alone makes the project a fantasy. Money, as much as technology, keeps the Titanic below. The Titanic is more than a shipwreck, it's a grave for over 1,500 souls. Disturbing the sight is seen as desecration by many, including victims' descendants. International treaties between the US and UK protect the wreck, requiring permits for any activity. UNESCO's convention further encourages leaving the Titanic in place, preserving its historical value. Any attempt to raise the ship would face legal and ethical opposition worldwide. The consensus: the Titanic should remain a maritime memorial, not a salvage trophy. It is a place for study and remembrance, protected by law and conscience. The rules are clear: observe, study, and honor, but do not disturb. Over the years, many methods have been proposed to raise the Titanic, and all have failed under scrutiny. Giant cranes or cables? No material could support the weight over 2.5 miles. Filling the ship with ping-pong balls? The pressure would crush them instantly. Inflatable bags or pontoons? Attaching them would shatter the brittle hull. Even encasing the wreck in ice with liquid nitrogen is pure science fiction, logistically and financially impossible. Each idea collapses when faced with the realities of physics, engineering, and the deep sea. The Titanic cannot be lifted by clever tricks or brute force. The dream of raising her remains just that, a dream. The Titanic remains below for a convergence of reasons: crushing pressure, freezing darkness, and utter fragility. The ship is a shattered, decaying ruin, too weak to survive a lift. The cost and technology required are beyond reach, and every proposed method fails in practice. Most importantly, the site is protected by law and by our collective respect for the dead. The Titanic is a maritime memorial, not a prize to be claimed. Its story endures through images, artifacts, and memory, not physical recovery. The ship stays where it belongs, a monument, a legend, and a solemn reminder at the bottom of the sea. Some mysteries are best left undisturbed.